Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live analysis as we look at the charts for crypto and gold. And the US market has just opened. And let me go ahead and put my screen up with the charts on it. And there we go. You should be able to see my charts now. And the US market opened about 25 minutes ago. The Wall Street forex trading opened an hour and a half ago. And so here we are looking at Bitcoin. First of all, I always like to just kind of briefly touch on Bitcoin. We'll see what Bitcoin is doing. And as I said last night, if you're in Southeast Asia, as I said 24 hours ago, all right, Bitcoin is kind of in a candlestick sandwich here, pretty much sideways for the last 2 weeks. And if we look back, we had quite a bearish market for a long time with it going down, but then it stabilized at around 85,000. Then it came up to 90,000, then up to 95,000, and just last week hit almost 98,000. And now it's dropped down a little bit. It looks like a lot on the chart, but it's not a lot for Bitcoin. So it's dropped down a little bit and now trading at 93,000. But as long as we're staying in 93, between 93,000 and 95,000, looks like we could be consolidating in this range for a bigger move up to 6 digits, up to 100,000 and beyond. So as you know, I don't trade Bitcoin. I buy Bitcoin on a regular basis as a digital asset for the future. But if you trade Bitcoin, I'm not going to give you any analysis on Bitcoin because I don't trade it. All right. But I do have a look at it to occasionally see what the price is. And I buy about once a month. Okay. Dollar cost averaging. And I recommend that anyone does that, putting your investment in this digital asset. It's always good to have your portfolio diversified, as they say. Okay, so before I jump over into gold and the other charts, I want to just show you briefly this here, what we call the fear and greed index. I think I was sharing that. I thought I was. Let me try again. And on the screen for you here. Yeah, fear index. And this is very interesting. This shows you the general market sentiment of what we're seeing. And if you look just 1 month ago, the index was at 3, which is way over here. There was extreme fear in the market. This is when they first announced the tariffs that were going to be coming out. And then it moved up a little bit to 35. This was 1 week ago, up in this range here. Now we've moved over to just slightly above neutral, and it's at 56. So just above neutral doesn't mean that suddenly everything is okay. All right, certainly doesn't mean that. But it means that the market is a little bit more optimistic, or we could really say the market sentiment is less fearful than it has been. Now, of course, this can easily change, and the uncertain times that we're in, we do see this fluctuating a lot between fear and neutral and greed. I don't think we'll get to see it much higher in the near future because the market is still in terms of a lot of uncertainty. But just to show you where we are at the moment, it's just showing you that the market sentiment is a little bit more optimistic, at least less fearful than it has been. So let me go back to the chart here. And we're looking at Bitcoin. Let me change that over to gold. This is the one that everybody's interested in. I know. And we're looking at the 4-hour chart right now. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. And that'll give us an idea of what's happening at the moment. This is live price action. You see gold is trading at 33.91. Okay, and this is the beginning of the day over here. And when the Asian Pacific market opens, and I'm talking about Singapore and Shanghai, Shanghai has a gold index similar to London. Then when that market opened, in 1 hour, this is a 15-minute chart, in 1 hour, gold moved up 500 pips, $50 in 1 hour. So it's an indication that the central banks are building up or continue to build up their gold reserves. Now, if you capitalized on that move, if you're trading during the Asian Pacific market, that could have been a very lucrative trade for you. If you'd have capitalized on that, congratulations. All right, but then after the next hour, that was only the first hour. The second hour, you saw the doji candle, and then we saw a reversal. Okay, which is typical. Okay, that's normal. You get these pullbacks, retracements, we call them. And I would not trade that if it was me. Some people do like to trade pullbacks or reversals or corrections, and this one would have been very lucrative. Also, it pulled back really well. However, be careful if you're trading pullbacks or reversals, because you see these small candles here. Sometimes it doesn't pull back very much. So trading reversals can be risky. And that's why I prefer, if we see gold in a bullish mode, which is definitely, gold is very, very bullish. There's no question about that. Yesterday, you see it moved up over 800 pips. Okay, just before yesterday, last week, gold was crashing. Everybody thought, well, the bears have control. And the bears did have control. But yesterday, when the Asian Pacific market opened, the bears lost control and the bulls took over. Boy, did they take over. And we saw a huge move of over 800 pips yesterday on Monday, the 5th of May. And then that bullish control has continued right through today and is continuing up through into the U.S. session. Now, we've seen a little bit of a slowdown, a little bit of sideways movement. This is the same thing we saw yesterday in the U.S. session. Over here, we saw a little bit of pullback and retracement. And then the last 4 hours, it started to move up again. So we could see the same thing here. I'll just go over the support and resistance levels that we've got here. The next resistance level is 3402, 3402, and that's where we will probably hit today during the U.S. session as it continues its bullish move. And then if it goes beyond that and breaks above that with some momentum, then the next level would be around 3430, 3430 up here. Anything is possible. Even though gold has already moved up about $70 or $80 today, that's 700 or 800 pips today, all right? And these are not normal moves, okay? These are extraordinary moves. There's just a lot of bullish momentum in the market. But if gold should continue up, that would be our next resistance level at around 3430. However, if and it's unlikely, gold should start to really retrace and pull back, the next support level would be down here at 3304. But right now we're trading at 3394. So not very far away from 3402, our next resistance level. Very likely to hit that in the next, maybe the next hour or two. So that's our support and resistance level. And gold is definitely bullish. It's bullish on the day chart, the 4-hour chart, the 1-hour chart. It's bullish on every chart. Okay, so what does that mean? That means look for an opportunity to buy. Look for an opportunity to buy. You look for a good entry price, a good opportunity to buy, and then you ride that up and get the profit that you can. If you got in the Asian Pacific market earlier today, then you could have ridden that up for a good 800 pips profit already. All right, but you didn't miss out. You know, gold is going to keep going up. Gold is a safe haven. We're in uncertain times. People love a safe haven. Gold has been good to have for hundreds, thousands of years. So the price of gold is going to continue to go up. Are we going to see 4,000? Well, we already saw 3,500 just a couple of weeks ago. 3,500. So we're not very far away from 4,000. So that could come in the next couple of months or maybe later this year. But gold is always a good product to have, a good asset to have. So just be looking for an opportunity to buy. Don't even consider selling unless you're one of these reverse trend traders and you want to try and capitalize on a little bit of a retracement, a pullback. That's up to you, totally up to you. Now remember that this live that I'm doing, this video is strictly educational purposes. I'm not a CPA. I'm not telling you what to trade, what to do, when to buy, when to sell. It's totally up to you to manage your own account and to use good risk management. And most importantly, of course, to protect your capital. So that's a look at gold. I think most people that I know trade gold. And there's a reason for that. It can be very lucrative, especially like if today you got in early on this one, and that would have been a tremendous profitable trade for you. We'll just look down at the uh, majors very quickly, and we see the USD JPY starting to go down. I wonder why that is. The US dollar going down. I've been saying all year that the US dollar is declining, and it's not going to start going up. In fact, we can just quickly look at the DXY. This is the DXY. This is the dollar index, the US dollar, and it's going down, 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 down. Of course, this is the 15-minute chart, but it's been going down all year. We're seeing a continual decline on the US dollar. The JPY basket, we're supposed to have some news coming out. It did make a big crash earlier this year, late last week. We saw a big decline in the Japanese yen late last week, but now that's already, as you can see here, starting to recover. And there is going to be some news from the Central Bank of Japan coming out this week. So we might be seeing more support for the Japanese yen. And the Japanese yen is considered a safe haven. It's a good currency to have. But there was just happened to be some negative economic news that came out last week, and that caused a short-term temporary crash of the Japanese yen. But it's doing well now, the Japanese yen. But the dollar, well, no, still in a sad state, still going down. We do get retracements and pullbacks. It is the world reserve currency, but is continuing to decline. And now it's dropped below that psychological number of 100, now trading at 99.38. And dropping below 100, if it closes below 100, I expect we will start to see much lower numbers than that in the very near short term. And then looking at the major currency pairs, the other ones, the Euro-US, as I said last night, the European economy is good and strong, and the Euro-US continues to move up. And the odd US is also doing well today. And the New Zealand US, all of the major currencies are doing well. They're solid and stable. Oh, look at this. This is the pound US. Okay, a really good move in the last few hours. Sorry, that's the pound New Zealand. Pound is very strong. This is the pound US. And this has done well all day long, the pound US. Ever since the Asian Pacific market, with a couple of short retracements there, with the pound US doing extremely well, now trading at $1.33. $1.33 on the pound US. And what do you think the USD CAD is doing? Yes, the USD CAD is going down. And supposedly in the United States now, Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister for Canada, is meeting with Donald Duck. So we'll see what comes of that, whether there's any change in the tariff situation or any change in the relationships between Canada and the US. Time will tell, and we'll see what happens with that. So just before I close out, we'll go back and look at gold, still trading about where it was. Now it's starting to make a little bit of a move up. They're at $33.96. So we're only $4, $3, $4 away from that number of that I showed you, 3402. That's our first major resistance level. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart and see what we're doing there. Okay, steadily coming up and likely to continue. Short retrace. This is a 5-minute chart. Okay, normally you do get moves up and then moves down, but you're getting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So this is likely to continue above 3,400 during the U.S. session. Already now trading at 3396, 3397. So not very far away from 3400, which is right here where my mouse is. Okay. All right, that's it from me, guys. Thank you for being here. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below this Facebook or below the YouTube. I'm live on YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to like, love, and share. And if you'd like to get my weekly analysis every Sunday, be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/RickRay. Okay, I hope you have a great evening of trading if you're trading in the US session, and I will see you again tomorrow.